Fubara, the River State Governor too, he was there. Godswill Akpabio was also there. You had quite a lot of interesting personalities in that venue, and it was quite an interesting one. I'm going to play a soundbite so you understand the perspective I'm coming from. Well, the burial ceremony of Herbert Wigwe, his wife and son, was meant to be a sober occasion, a time for reflection and mourning. However, the political brickbats exchanged by Senator Godswill Akpabio and Governor Simi Fubara were in the eyes of many a taint. Now, amidst the gathering of mourners paying their last respects, the presence of politicians introduced an element of discord as they engaged in verbal sparring, seemingly oblivious to the gravity of the occasion. Senator Godswill Akpabio's remarks, in particular, came under scrutiny for their perceived lack of decorum, prompting disapproval from attendees. As the politicians bantered back and forth, the atmosphere grew tense. So let me tell you what happened. Then I will definitely play you that audio so that you understand where I'm coming from. So Fubara was there, also eulogizing Wigwe. He talked about how important Wigwe was and the number of connections, the contacts that he had at his fingertips. How, in a way, Wigwe could call very top politicians, all right, persons that we may not actually in our lives ever see, and then they actually attend to him. And in the process of that, he says this is a man who was very powerful, who was a major influencer for many political stalwarts, and eventually he's 6 feet under, he's dead. In other words, what do we struggle for? What are we struggling for? What is it about life that we are fighting for? Because at the end of the day, we're going 6 feet under, right? So I think Fubara was basically referring, the tussle between him and his political father, that is Nyesom Wike, and the struggle that has been going on between the both of them, putting River State in the limelight. And you remember that last week, Fubara said that he doesn't mind resigning so long as there is peace in River State. That is all he wants. There is no need for the bloodshed or bloodbaths or political taint on each other's personality. He doesn't mind resigning. And a couple of political stalwarts have come to say, Fubara, you dare not make such a statement. You have people who supported you. You have people who voted for you, regardless of the imbroglio going on between you and Nyesom Wike. So you say that you rather resign. It means that you're weak-kneed. There were quite a lot of conversation that trailed what Fubara stated. However, I want to play you Fubara's exact words and what Akpabio responded to, and then the reason why a lot of Nigerians were criticizing them at the venue of the funeral service holding its way for Herbert Wigwe.
And this one has to do with our political class. What is all this struggle all about? You want to kill, you want to bury. What is it all about? This is a man. He's not a politician. He made his money through us, our investment. He has the world in his palm, financially. He controls even the political classes. But today, with all the power financially, couldn't control life. Is it not enough for us to ask ourselves, why are we struggling? Why are we not making impact in the life of our people? Please, political classes, let's go home with that question and be answering it in our minds and reflecting it in what we do. Let me especially thank
So I also also want us to use this opportunity to listen to what Godswill Akpabio said in reaction to that. I'm very sure that you know how Godswill Akpabio talks, right? So let's listen to his swipe at Fubara. It was not necessary, actually, and I don't think Fubara was actually referring to any one of them particularly or directly, but we all knew who Fubara was referring to. But let's listen to Godswill Akpabio's response.
I will answer you. The struggle, we are not talking politics. In 2006, I wanted to be a deputy governor. So the then deputy governor invited me and told me that this office has no money. There is nothing in it. I don't know why you still insist on moving me from here and taking over. So a woman who went with me said, Your Excellency, then don't wait for impeachment. Just resign since there is nothing in it. And he stood up and he started punching the woman. And I told him, Your Excellency, don't punch her. She's telling the truth. There is nothing in the office. That's why I want it. Because you are too big for it. So, Your Excellency, Governor Fubara, if there is nothing in the struggle, don't struggle. But the soul of our icon, a South-South mentor, and he started punching the woman. And I told him, Yes, don't punch her. She's telling the truth. There's nothing in the office. That's why I want it. Because you are too big for it. So, Your Excellency, Governor Fubara, if there's nothing in the struggle, don't struggle. But the soul of our icon, a South-South mentor, a man of excellence with his...
All right. An interesting bit, isn't it? So this set tongues wagging and questions arose. Seriously? You guys came to such an occasion to throw brickbats at each other? This man died. People in his state are weeping. Those who he has impacted in their lives are crying. And you rather come on stage to communicate on your political tussle? How dare you? You owe Nigerians an apology. You owe these people an apology. You owe those who sincerely are grieving this family an apology for you to come there and have your political tussle use the stage for someone else entirely to actually fight out your dirty linens. So that's basically what it is. Many Nigerians are urging the politicians to reflect on their actions and extend a heartfelt apology to the bereaved family. They're recognizing the need for unity and empathy during this difficult time. In fact, there were quite a lot of reactions by netizens on, how Fubara and Godswill Akpabio reacted, specifically Fubara, who a lot of people, not Fubara, Godswill Akpabio, who a lot of people felt that his reaction or his response was not necessary, and that was not the platform for him to have actually done what he did. Okay, so yeah, that's quite an interesting one. Also, similarly, we have reactions from Fani-Kayode. You do know him. He's a very controversial individual, and he's actually talking about the Nigerian polity. His statement actually elicited quite the response from Nigerians, where he said that some people may not want to listen to the truth, that he knows the truth, they may not want to listen to the truth, but those who do not have the time to read should try and read and hear what he wants to say so they properly understand his concept or where he's coming from. According to Fani-Kayode, he says that sadly most Nigerians will not read or appreciate his contribution because frankly it is beyond them, and that worst of all, many people, particularly the younger generation, I don't know why he decided to denigrate people. I think this 2023 elections, a lot of young persons actually participated in politics. Those who do not usually read up on it, those who do not actually follow up the trend did. So you cannot tell what content you put out there and who consumes it. You rather not generalize. Just put out whatever you want to put out there, and if you have your facts to back it up, good. So he says that particularly the younger generation find it difficult to read more than 3 lines, even though it is to their own shame and detriment. And so he says for those that actually have the gravitas, insight, foresight, profundity, and intellectual virility to read and comprehend and the counsel he has to offer in the write-up, he's urging us to bookmark it and wait and see what unfolds until we quickly identify and recognize the problem and address the issues raised. So he says there are two reasons for the mass abductions and kidnappings that we are witnessing in our country today. And first of all, to garner cash, which is that these individuals, that is these bandits or terrorists, the idea for these abductions going on is to garner cash, then send it abroad to buy more arms and fund terror, and secondly, to destabilize the country and to discredit and undermine the credibility of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the federal government. Fani-Kayode went ahead to say that he hopes and prays that someone is listening, because this is precisely what we witnessed when the Chibok girls and other children were abducted over the years, and the motives are the same. Those that think it is only about the acquisition of money are naive and ignorant. This is far more, or rather there is far more to it than that, and there are numerous shady and sinister characters, international criminal cartels, foreign governments and intelligence agencies, and local accomplices and facilitators that are involved in this great evil. He says that Nigeria has been targeted for destruction, division, and disintegration by those that see us as a threat to their original hegemony, strategic national interests, and imperialist aspirations, where most of us still don't get it and perhaps never will. According to him, he says, they do not want a strong, united, prosperous, and regionally dominant Nigeria, but would rather turn us into a pathetic and pitiful shadow of our former selves, a cowardly and quivering caricature of what we once were, and a weak, divided, incredulous, and headless pawn, and set us up for self-destructive economic and military annihilation. Okay, so I want to know what you think about what Femi Fani-Kayode said. I usually say it on this platform whenever I do my news analysis, with my guests. I usually ask this question. It's a very profound one. I say, if you go on social media and you hear the conversation, the ethnic, religious, and political bigotry you hear in the conversation there is mind-boggling. And you're wondering what is going on with Nigerians. These are politicians who are friends, right? And so just because you are an obedient, or because you are a batified individual, or you are an articulated supporter, so you decide to hurl insults, curse generations, go all the way, you refer to people as slaves, say all manner of derogatory comments just because you are supporting an individual. I mean, recently, Bello El-Rufai, that is Nasser El-Rufai's son, was in a podcast where he berated and denigrated the person of Peter Obi by saying that Peter Obi could never ever be up to Fashola, the former governor of Lagos State, also can never be up to his father, Nasser El-Rufai, and even cannot be put at par with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I actually read a tweet where Bashir Ahmed, you recall Bashir Ahmed, right? He was the president's former digital media aide. He said that Bello El-Rufai said nothing more than the truth. These are political stalwarts, persons in the Nigerian polity who are meant to promote unity, peace, right? And here is Femi Fani-Kayode writing this, making it seem like it's an international whatever, or they're conspirators or conspirators. I mean, how do you merge this together? How do you put it together? How do you synergize this? It's an irony. To me, it doesn't make sense, because you are here saying something else. Another time you're castigating Peter Obi or any of the political stalwarts that you're not in good terms with, or making derogatory comments, stoking and hitting up the polity. And here you are asking that we should unify, we should stand firm together. You are the ones that stoke up the polity by the words you put out there. You set the conversation, you set the tone by hitting up the polity. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just overstating. I want to know what you think. I want to know what your thoughts are, because when these individuals make statements on social media, you're setting the tone. You know the following that you have. You make up statements like this that are derogatory and divisive, and then now you're writing a piece by saying that there are cartels, there are individuals in the international scene who are trying to make caricature of our federalism, and they're trying to denigrate the capacity of this administration. How do you want to comprehend that with what a lot of you say on social media? That's another thing we want to look into. Now, let's talk about the presidential 2024 budget that was padded. Okay, so Apparently, the presidency confirmed that the National Assembly added 1.27 trillion naira to the 2024 budget. The president has always asked Nigerians to trust him. He has been appealing that Nigerians should see that his heart is pure and true. But most times when we read up some things that are coming from the president's cabinet, is a complete opposite to what we expect. So I was thinking that the administration would try to build up a sense of trust to bridge that vacuum that has been created with how the 2023 elections went, and try to see how they can make Nigerians understand where they're coming from. You know, starting with the subsidy removal, starting with the economic policies implemented and the reasons why they said they were implementing the policies, starting with the over-bloated expenditure in governance, and then after making all of these statements, we get to read how much you spent in either going for a trip, how much you spent in those who accompanied you on your trip. The expenditure is nothing to write home about. It's quite expensive. We can barely finance the 2024 budget, right? And then now you're telling us to trust your administration. You're telling us to build trust in you. You're telling us to be patient in the pain, in the hazard, in the deprivation. But you're not doing anything to give us a little bit to trust you. I think that's a situation that the presidency needs to help us understand and help us break down in the format that they want us to help them in the format that they feel we can understand or comprehend. All right. So that's one of the conversations we're having today. The 2024 padding. Apparently 1.27 trillion naira was added to the 2024 budget by the National Assembly, and the presidency actually reacted to the allegation that the 2024 budget was inflated by 3 trillion naira, clarifying that the National Assembly only added 1.27 trillion naira to the executive proposal. So the presidency is actually defending it. They're saying we did not add 3 trillion naira. It's just 1.27 trillion naira, and that the budget is in the open. So if you Google it, you will actually see it. I don't know. I really don't know how to explain that. And the reaction followed the issue of budget padding, which was actually raised by one of the senators of the People's Democratic Party representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District, and his name is Abdul Ningi. Ningi was quoted in a BBC Hausa report on Saturday, that is 9th of March 2024, to have claimed that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led federal government was operating a 28 trillion naira budget different from the 25 trillion naira approved by lawmakers. Now, apart from what the National Assembly did on the floor, there was another budget that was done on the ground, which Nigerians didn't know. This is what Senator Ningi is actually disclosing. And he says, the new things we have discovered in the budget were not known to us. We haven't seen them in the budget that was debated and considered on the floor of the National Assembly. But the presidency in a statement said the National Assembly added 1.27 trillion naira to the 2024 budget, stressing that it does not see where the 3 trillion naira is coming from. This senator is saying 3 trillion naira was added to the 2024 budget. The National Assembly is actually stating that it is not 3 trillion naira, that I don't know where Senator Ningi is coming up with that figure. Rather, it was 1.27 trillion naira that was added. But the point is, why were you not clear about it from the onset? This is the transparency we're talking about. Okay. In the same vein, the Senate spokesperson, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, debunked Ningi's allegation, noting that the budget was a public document and was in the public space for Nigerians to peruse. The national budget, according to him, is a public document which expressly states the expected revenue and the expenditure of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Senate, under the leadership of Senator Godswill Akpabio, is not aware of any varied execution of the 2024 appropriation mandate as approved. All right, like I said, quite a lot transpired in the course of the week that generated quite the conversation in the Nigerian polity. It's not surprising when we hear some of these things come in place, but then who knows? And of course, you know, when we hear some of these issues, we wonder how we intend to cope with it, how we intend to ensure that things get back to normal, and how we intend to pursue what you call national cohesion and unity. Well, There's quite a lot in that particular aspect, which I want you to be part of in the course of this conversation. Well, there was a report that circulated where the INEC chairman, Mahmood Yakubu, regretted declaring President Bola Ahmed Tinubu the winner of the 2023 elections. Now, that story circulated, and Nigerians were wondering exactly when he said that. You know, when he gave the comprehensive report of how the elections went, he talked about the fact that this was one of the most organized elections in the history of INEC as an organization conducting elections. Mahmood Yakubu also said that Nigerians were being sentimental, that everything was clear as day, and issues that were not, coherent, or issues that were not legible enough were taken to court. So, as of last week, we heard that INEC had begun the court processing of individuals who, were what you would call practiced election malpractice, those who defaulted in the rules and regulations during the elections, the INEC chairman, INEC officials, as well as political party agents. And Nigerians actually talked. They complained about that statement. How do we know that you're indeed pursuing this thing through? Remember the case of Yunusa Ari. We've not heard anything about him yet. The other time he was supposed to appear in court, they said Yunusa Ari collapsed. And after he collapsed, okay, where is he now? Has he resurfaced? Is he better? Has he woken up from whatever it is he collapsed from? We've not heard any update on that. So Nigerians were asking, how do we trust the transparency of your prosecution process on those who practice this election anomaly, those who actually were fraudulent during the 2023 election? Well, here is the situation. Nigerians are trying to grapple with the current economic hardship in the country, and the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has come under heavy criticism for declaring Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner of the 2023 presidential election. Interestingly, several claims began to circulate on Facebook that Yakubu had released a statement saying he regretted hurriedly announcing Tinubu as the winner of the election after seeing the hardship Nigerians were facing. Now, many Nigerians on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, blamed Yakubu for the rising cost of living under President Tinubu ahead of May 29, which is the first anniversary of his tenure in office. So, apparently, INEC chairman, according to the post on Facebook, they say INEC chairman expresses regret over prematurely declaring Tinubu as president of Nigeria, acknowledges hardship on Nigerians. Now, the same claim can be seen on several platforms. Well, it is not true. Apparently, he did not express, right, that he regretted announcing Tinubu as the winner. But this is what a lot of Nigerians expected because of the report he came out to give. And Nigerians were saying, who asked you to come and give us a report? We're trying to move on. We're trying to forge ahead. So is it that your principal did not do what he's supposed to do for you? Is this part of the antic for you to come and tell us that this was how the election went? You're trying to set up the conversation again when a lot of people who are wounded are trying to move on. However, Mahmood Yakubu did not in any way express or make that statement that he regrets announcing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the winner. Fact check actually went to verify, and fact check said that information is not true. It is false, in as much as critics are claiming that Yakubu sabotaged the system to allow the results to be changed in favor of Tinubu, the ruling All Progressives Congress candidate. Well, INEC said any system failure was only a technical glitch. According to INEC, they refer to the situation with the Arab portal as, they called it a bug in the system. Up to now, we don't understand what that bug means. So that's basically it. Now, the fact check is a checking platform, Africa Check, and they noted that on Tuesday, the 5th of March, that the claim contradicts Professor Yakubu's public statements about the 2023 election. Well, these are the times where, due to the current economic situation in the country, due to how hard things are, it's possible that a lot of this information will be out there. And the idea is those who are not satisfied with how the country is and the economic implementations will definitely want to just certain information, whether it's true or not. But the thing is, they're not happy with how things are, and so that's how information can just go off rife in any place. But the question Nigerians are asking is, Mahmood Yakubu, did you actually conduct any credible election at all? With what was experienced in 2023, with what Nigerians visibly experienced, went through, how can you come out publicly to tell us that this was one of the most most organized and transparent elections that INEC has conducted so far in the history of its establishment. How can you boldly come out to say that with what has transpired in the country? Look at the pains, look at the situation, look at the mass abductions taking place. You know, a lot of issues are out there rife. Well, let me introduce my guest in the studio. All right, so that we can delve into more of the conversation. And my guest right here is Barrister Joe Nwokedi. All right, Barrister Joe Nwokedi has not been on this program for a while, but I'm happy that he's here today because he would help us dissect these issues and talk well about them. He is a political, national, and social affairs commentator. Barrister Joe Nwokedi, good evening and welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Good evening, and our viewers. I greet all of you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for coming.
I'm here today.
Yes, you're here today because you actually have a lot you need to explain to us.
Yes, we'll
do
justice to them.
Yes, exactly. I want to start off with what Fani-Kayode said. He sounds like a different Fani-Kayode that we know. I mean, Fani-Kayode is saying that there are individuals who are trying to annihilate our democracy. There are cartels, all right? There are supposed mercenaries, and that there are some international individuals or persons or agencies or corporation that are invested in destabilizing the Nigerian polity and making a caricature of our democracy. And then you still have this same individual criticizing Peter Obi, right, for actually kneeling. I don't want to say that. I don't want to make that statement. These are individuals who have made derogatory statements and heated up the polity before the elections, during the elections, and even post-election. I told you about what Bello El-Rufai, Nasser El-Rufai's son, said, the derogatory statement he used against Peter Obi as a person. And the question that comes to the mind of Nigerians is this your way of analyzing how to move forward, how to forge ahead? Is this the process for you? And you go on Twitter and you hear this derogatory term they give obedience. They feel the obedience are aggressive. They feel that the Peter Obi is a president only on social media, and he's not someone that a lot of people consider is just unnecessary social media hype. And you see some of those who are in support of this administration or whatever make all forms of comments. And then Fani-Kayode is saying that we need to unify, we need to be strong, we need to build our democracy. We should not let these external individuals infiltrate and destabilize our polity. But these are individuals that actually stoke the polity. What's your take on that?
The point is that I believe that Peter B is just like becoming nightmarish to all these people, because sometimes they also help Peter B to be, afloat within the Nigerian polity. Because once you keep on, mentioning someone, calling someone, it means that that person has something very, very unique. He's either a thorn in your flesh, or he's your nightmare. He's something you're so much afraid of. Somebody you don't know how to contend. So you now find a way to either besmirch his personality, attack his integrity. Just do whatever you believe you can do, because it's a figure that is this kind of gigantic in nature, that you believe that you have this perpetual fear. As long as he's there, that you have a very big problem to confront. Before the election, we had all these statements, 4 people to in a room and all that. Yeah. The same one is telling 4 people to think went ahead to win 12 states, even one federal capital territory, one Lagos. Is that not one Calabar, the 3 capitals of Nigeria? He won all of them. Calabar was there as the first capital, Lagos and Abuja. He cleared all those places. And instead of you to go home and find a way to study this man and know whom he is, and begin to imbibe his lifestyle, his attitude, that made him, that within 6 months, he was able to bulldoze the 4 corners of Nigeria, to the extent that you have to come up with so many idiosyncrasies to stop him, glitches, beavers not working, this one, IREP. You have to come up with so many things for you to find a way to stop. You have to go to judiciary. You have to do so many things to stop this man. What you should have done, if it were when we were in politics, we begin in school, we begin to study the person. What is this guy doing that we don't know? Maybe he belongs to so many so and so group. We may want to go and join those groups. Okay, this guy used to greet people. He used to laugh a lot. We begin to laugh. Just some point, you study the person and know how to not coming up with something so trivial, so irrelevant, so irresponsible, exposing yourself to more hatred. people that love P2B will forever love him, and you can't change it. And call election next time, they will still be there to still even do more than what they have done before. What you should do is to know what made people to love him. Now, the statement that brought about P2B comparison and Fashola, whatever, what brought about that? Did P2B attack Fashola? Did P2B attack El-Rufai? Were they in a function and they exchanged words, or they into confrontation or whatever? Were they nominated for an award? Are you looking for who is better, who is not better? What brought about that comparison? To show that these people, they are giving birth to people that are so lazy. Because the fathers have actually accumulated so much work that they can't even think. They can't even sit back and begin to work on how to build on whatever opportunity they have. Instead of them to like, look, I have all the facilities at my disposal, let me even do something that will be beyond whatever my father has done. You begin to do something petty, something that will be feel like you are doing this, you are fighting, you are taking care of your own side. But that's not what we see in all these civilized democracies.
Okay.
You know, so what I heard about that was what concerns P2B with this? Is there any contest involving P2B and the Fashola and the El-Rufai? Fashola is even a quiet person that he occasionally appears and disappears. You can't hear Fashola making careless or callous statements. Do you understand my point? Have you ever seen him jostling for appointment during this regime, or Fashola going where to go and talk or granting press releases, or you don't see Fashola just like even functions. You hardly see Fashola at functions. He's not that kind of person. Plus, even when he was a governor, I followed him up. I know Fashola is a serious-minded person. If you are even doing that to like attract his attention, you wouldn't even like it. So why would that young man that will always talk and even bring him more and more disrepute and hatred to his family? He should even be ashamed of the fact that after everything that the father did, they didn't consider him worthy enough for ministerial appointment. Even the NEPA group or whatever group he led to President Tinubu for minister, whatever, NEPA, whatever, they still didn't consider it worthy to be brought to the corridors of power. Won't you go home and know that, look, I have to be careful? Do they still even want us? Just on my point now. So it actually makes me feel like I don't understand. If Fani-Kayode, will Fani-Kayode have said the same thing? Will Fani-Kayode have said the same thing if P2B Atiku is the president of Nigeria? When they kidnap these people, they kidnapped recently, will Fani-Kayode have said the same thing? And that's the problem we have in Nigeria. That is why this country is becoming neck deep in greater, entanglements and problems. Because when you don't have let me say career activists, what you have is stomach activists in Nigeria, and people are no longer taking them seriously. Look at what is happening now. Whenever somebody criticizes Tinubu from the north, the question will be like, where were you during Buhari's tenure? But when we have a real activist in the person of people like Ganifa Wemedian, Ganifa Wemedian took on Tinubu, even though they speak the same language, stay in the same Lagos, are the same Muslims or whatever, he took on him. He took on Abata, he took on IBB. So when you see people that are pure activists, they take on you irrespective of where you come from. But unfortunately, they are in minority now. We don't see that. We don't see people that you might take as speaking as the voice of the nation. Before you now say Jack, they're saying something else when it comes close to the person close to them. Okay, look at what happened to Wolosho in Ghana. Recently, he made a comment that nobody gave him a serious attention again, whatever. You know how his statement used to echo when he spoke against Fulani Hesman under Buhari. It almost caused it was part of things that kind of energized the former governor, late governor of Ondo State, to come up with a motekun, because we also put up and spoke against that. And so many things. But now, because of the kind of callous statements he made, same pass, nobody gives his speeches a serious weight or attention again. And these are not good for the country. Be an activist, remain as an activist. I say that even if my blood, the same mother, the same father, becomes a leader in any place and does something wrong, I will still criticize you. Because by criticizing that person, you are helping him. Now, Fani-Kayode is now attributing what happened in Nigeria recently, I think in Kaduna, to international conspiracy. Did he say the same thing when Jonathan was there? If he was not, I think he was also eating food then. If it has been another person, would he say the same thing? People were following Fani-Kayode, after Buhari took over, thinking he was a very serious-minded person. From nowhere, he ate all his vomit. Because of what? I always tell them, look, if you want to go into politics, get something tangible that you are doing. Someone say, Joe, why are you not? I say, I'm not going anywhere until when I get a profession that will sustain me. I don't want to be greedy about it, but I have to have my basics. So that eventually when I finish serving my tenure, I won't rely on political players for my daily bread. Right. So that I will sustain my integrity, which no billions of money or whatever can buy. That's my point.
Yes,
international conspiracy, how? Did you mention the country behind that? Did you mention which country are we fighting with? Are we Ukraine and US?
You said that there are agents from outside the country who are, stoking the politics.
What agent? What agent? The polity in Nigeria is being stoked by people inside Nigeria.
He's referring to the mass abduction that took place 2 days ago in Kaduna. He's saying that it is that these individuals or these bandits are they want to get money to buy more weapons.
Buy weapons from where? The same banditry that became so pronounced under Buhari. We had Boko Haram, then Buhari, out of his carelessness and issue of all this religion or tribalism, decided to pamper these people when they were at the incubator stage, and they grew up into a monster. To tell us they can move 200 and something students out of a state. Do you know? Have you moved 50 people out? Do you know how many coasters that will carry 50 people? At least 2 or 3. A big coaster carries at 3 persons. So you need like about 5-6 coasters.
This is exactly what happened during Jonathan's time.
You need like 240 automobile bikes to move those people out. At least 100 that will carry 2. And you are passing through. You cannot pass through the bush now. You move through a road.
And there was no military agents.
And there was no military.
No para. No checkpoints.
No spy, no checkpoints, no technology, nothing. And we vote billions of money in our military ways. Security and everything every year. These things cannot be traced. No satellites. I don't think we still have any satellites in the air that monitors things.
Oh, they said they do. They usually do aerial view. I remember the accidental bombings they had last year.
Why can't we use that technology to identify all these culprits and deal with them accordingly? Now you are talking about external aggression. Is that not why you are a sovereign state? When there is a crime committed in Nigeria and they won't take a Nigerian person outside the country, you say we are sovereign nation. We are sovereign nation. They have no right to dictate under us. The same country you have been going about saying it's a sovereign nation under your powers and no international influence should dictate who will come and monitor vote. Even when you gave the opinion, you lambasted them, trashed them, called them all sorts of names. They have no right. Why can't you protect your own people now with all your powers, all your rights, all your supremacy, all your sovereignty, all your everything you have as a country that can stand on your own? Because they talk rubbish. They talk down EU. Simply because they gave the opinion who are there, and they the one that dictate to us. And now the same Fani-Kayode that was saying all those rubbish then is now with chicks in his heart saying international conspiracy. If you are strong enough not to allow EU to come and speak on your election or whatever, be strong enough to defend your country against external bodies, external aggressors. And we're not in a war. In a war. Part of why we respect sovereignty is because the country is under territorial protection. So if there is any likelihood of any external aggression, your internal mechanism, internal arrangement, internal systems will ward off all those aggressors or whatever mode or means they want to use to penetrate your country. That's why even country merge or people unite as a country. If not, people who have existed as individual entities the way they were before the white people came in, by town by town, village by village, unit by unit, empire by empire. The sense of forming a larger entity is to have stronger will power, to have a force that can protect and secure you. And now you are saying that they came into Nigeria. So why can't you detect them? Did they come even if they come with flight, even if they come with money, that money must be traced. You have machinery to trace every money that entered into Nigeria, every funds that entered into Nigeria, foreign monies that were moved into this country. Who are those behind them? The whole thing boils down to failure of the government. It boils down to what Tinubu and his men used against Jonathan. Karma is bringing it back to them. Because karma is a spirit. No matter whatever you do, you cannot get away with it. If you systematically plan something to destroy someone, that thing will stylishly creeping to come back to you. They made mention of fuel subsidy. We saw them now. They said they're still paying it. We saw them now moving price to 600 and something naira. The same thing they fought under Jonathan. They cried all over the whole world. Use all the apparatus, machinery, media they have everywhere to fight to
propagate Nigeria protests
propagate Chibok girls and everything all over the world. To say even in America and everywhere, Chibok girl was everywhere. Bring back Chibok, bring back our girls. Now what happened? It has happened in their own eyes, in their own nose now. They call Jonathan names for not having the ability to get those girls back, or for him to not even having the ability to prevent the occurrence of that heinous crime. But now it has happened on their nose in Kaduna State.
But
so it is quite painful.
Yeah, in reaction,
Nigeria.
All right. In reaction to what you're saying, apparently there are statements that have actually been rife almost for the past 1 or 2 months by some northern elders. All right, saying that they would not show support to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. Now, these individuals or these persons believe that if not for them, Tinubu wouldn't have won the 2023 elections. So they're holding on to the fact that there were promises made by this administration to them in terms of currying their favor to, mobilize their people to support the president. But unfortunately, they feel the president had reneged on his promises. In fact, they say they no longer even have access to the president, and because of that, in fact, they've come out to say all manner of things. One of the traditional leaders or clerics that said that the president's wife should be killed because she's a Christian, referred to her as an infidel. Well, I think the DSS was able to apprehend him. He's been apologizing, but some of them are saying no, the apology is not enough. They saw what happened with Aisha Buhari, former president's first lady, with a young man who actually wrote something on Twitter by saying she's looking fat because she's eating, from people's purse. She's eating taxpayers' money, and the DSS traced him and make sure they dealt with him, and he had to make a public apology before a lot of CSOs, pleaded on his behalf. I want to play this audio of Professor Yusuf. He was a former NHI chairman. He's been a strong critic of this administration and its strategic implementation.
So even the one that happened in Ajawa State in Lagos, is it because somebody said that he's going to bring a pop? I see he's still in prison custody till now.
We haven't heard.
He didn't even call for killing. He said if markets are burnt again, that they are going to bring up to protect markets, to protect Igbo markets in Lagos. He didn't say he's bringing in to come and kill anybody. And the young man is still in prison. He's still in prison. They've not granted him bail. So why would somebody that said that wife of a president should be killed now apologize and go in the same country? And you are expecting people to be patriotic, to come out fully as citizens of that country, to build it with their mind, with their heart, to make the country grow. The first aspect of growth of any society is justice and treating people in line with principle, rule of law. Once you miss it, there is no other thing that will work in that country.
Equitable, objective justice.
Yes, be it investment. I know I'm a lawyer, I go to court a lot. People will always look at the judicial system. Is this something that can cooperate? If there are foreign investors, for all these external people, foreigners coming in, they'll always look at your judicial system. Can they trust your police? Can they trust your courts? Can they trust the legal system? The legal, because eventually there might be outbreak of crisis, people might renege, there might be breaches of contracts, there might be so many issues that might happen, and they want to test the potency of your judicial system, of your justice, whether your justice is sectional, selective, man no man, and the rest of that. So if somebody that will call for the killing of wife of a president because she's a Christian, so that man that statement means that man can kill any Christian. That's
treasonable. That's a treasonable
The man is not comfortable with anything called Christian.
Yes.
And we have how many millions of Christians in Nigeria?
In fact, he called her a derogatory term.
Yes. So
and it was generic to a particular religious sect.
No Christian is safe within that cleric, and all his adherents are terrorists in the making against Christians. Because for him to come out openly, the person of president, not ordinary man walking on the street, ordinary beggar, ordinary trader, ordinary, ordinary person walking around. If you can not such animosity in the person of the wife of a president, you now know what will happen to ordinary person that is a Christian around that man and all his adherents.
All right, let's listen to Professor Yusuf during a current interview session with a channel's television presenter, Shewo Kumbali. Let's just a very small snippet of what he said concerning this administration and his method of governance.
Any right-thinking Nigeria, we are at a stage, a country that is endowed, the human and capital, a country that's very rich. Literally, we are now turned into beggars. As are giving you palliatives, rice, a cup of rice like they give in Sudan or Afghanistan or northern Gaza. In a country like Nigeria, I think our politicians have made it. Nigeria is a very rich country. We have no reason whatsoever to be poor. We have no reason to be hungry. We have no reason for our children not to be educated. We have no reason for our schools and hospitals to be the way they were. Leaders of our time invested in us. And from the village secondary schools and primary schools, we went into the world and competed favorably in some of the best centers in the world. And now our leaders, with all this money, they are not able to do that. We are at a stage where, look, I just came back from Katsina. Each time I come back from home, I want to weep. Our people are hungry. No food to eat. Men have abandoned their families and left a mother with kids. Problems of all we are going through are two things: corruption and bad governance. End of story. Say no more. Say no more. Corruption and bad governance. And we've seen that. We are literally sitting down watching for the past 25 years how this country has been decaying. All this insecurity you see, all this hunger you see in the land, leave it at corruption and bad governance. On the day he was inaugurated, without even having his team ready, without consulting anybody, without looking at the balance sheet of the country, without knowing what the problems are, just pushed up and took off subsidy without having a plan to mitigate all these problems. And this is why we are seeing that. Those who say prescription to a patient without listening to the patient and examining the patient. And I've said it in several fora, all these things you see, what it indicated was that the president, you didn't have your team, you didn't have your ministers, then who was advising you to do this?
Do you think
shadowy people I call armchair theoretical economists that know nothing about the realities of the lives of our people? And this is clearly, we all know it is an IMF prescription. You get a prescription virtually and keep taking it, and it's killing your people. You're not going to revise that prescription. This is an IMF prescription. IMF and World Bank, they've been pushing Nigeria, pressurizing Nigeria to do this.
That was former NSIA chairman, Professor Usman Yusuf. He was the former executive secretary, National Health Insurance Scheme. And of course, you remember he was the one who said he was surprised the southeastern part of the country had remained quiet amid the worsening economic hardship facing the country. You remember that he was the one who made that statement. He expected those from the southeast to join in the protests that erupted in several locations across the country, and he has referred to those in the president's cabinet as armchair economists. I'm sure he's referring to Wale Edun here and Yemi Cardoso, CBN governor. There have been calls to the president to actually replace these ministers, that their policies or their advice is not working at all, because our economy, according to this, to some of these critics, have degenerated further, meaning that Yemi Cardoso, the CBN governor, Wale Edu, the Minister of Finance, do not actually know what to do. They have been, coming up with trial and error policies that seems to have been worsening things, and so they are calling for a replacement on the president's ministers. Barrister John Wokedi, what do you think? Do you think this minister should be replaced? I want you to remember something. During former President Muhammadu Buhari's tenure, for the first 6 months, he did not have a cabinet. What he had at that time were just some few individuals that needed to be in some vital sectors of the Nigerian polity to make sure that things go smoothly. Even the budget was not, we were still operating on the previous administration's budget. The former president traveled for 6 months, but Nigerians were patient. I mean, the question that comes to mind is, at that time, Nigerians wanted anybody other than Jonathan or anybody from the People's Democratic Party. They wanted change. They wanted something different. And so Muhammadu Buhari, because of his time as a military dictator, they felt that he would cleanse the system with his anti-corruption personality and on his tripod of fighting corruption, insecurity, and revitalizing the Nigerian economy. But so Nigerians were patient. They were quite understanding. For 6 months, he did not set up his cabinet, and Nigerians were simply fine. He's old. He needs to rest. Let us see. We trust and we believe in him. You understand? But then, why is that same patience or not extended to President Tinubu?
You have to look at what transpired under. Okay. I always tell people the bedrock of every leadership. The bedrock of every successful leadership is what transpired during the election.
Okay.
If you look at the way Buhari's election was actually conducted, Nigerians, good majority of them believe that he won.
Okay.
Do you understand my point?
That's Tinubu or Buhari?
Buhari.
Okay.
Majority of Nigerians believe that he won. Even Jonathan himself considered defeat and said, carry on. Do you understand my point? People believe, okay, there might be that kind of imagination that he won. So, because some people even in the south, and so many people voted for him.
Yeah.
Somebody not voted for him, and like you rightly said, people wanted a change.
Yes.
So even though they didn't vote for him, eventually was okay. Let us see this change.
Yeah.
Since that this man had a history of being a no-nonsense man,
yes,
fought corruption, jailed some people, being a military man, general. Let us see what he can do, especially in the areas of corruption and insecurity. Because of the way Boko Haram was actually threatening the country then, bombing churches, mosques, and all those things. So they wanted to let's give him a chance to know whether he has something. This might be his style. Then when you see sometimes when a client will give us job, we say we don't dictate to us.
Okay.
You came to us because we believe we are good. Allow us to tell you how to go about it, and so you can achieve results, and not to dictating to us how to go about it. So that's after a while, if you are not actually achieving results, they will become aggressive. So we have given you the time, you have squandered it.
Which is exactly what happened.
Yes, so they gave Buhari that time, and eventually afterward, people began to look beyond the sphere of the ordinary. Are we still? Is this still that we are trying to be patient, or is it now meaning that this man doesn't even know what to do? At a point, it appeared to Nigerians that Buhari did not know what to do. He even inherited so many people that worked under PDP. He didn't know how to start. Even the budget office, I knew when it was an issue. So many things actually happened. He didn't know anything about governance. I wrote to me and Tinubu, then began to fly with Abuja, began to
all
get
the time,
all the fear here and there, trying to know whether they can learn out of leadership. And Nigerians paid dearly for it. People died. Most of the people were committing suicide, jumping from third mainland, so many places that time. And because of the way that prices of commodities skyrocketed, dollar moved, commodities moved, so many things actually happened. But then when that thing happened, Nigerians had the hope that after 4 years they would change Buhari, and then they played their game with Sava, Baka, no Baka that time. Tinubu, Atiku, and Peter Obi actually ran. They said, okay, no problem, by 4 years we'll get rid of these people. Let's just hope, pray by 4 years we'll get rid of everything APs. Before now, APs and now try by all means. I've been around for years, and I'm not a small boy. I've actually witnessed so many elections in Nigeria, even 1979 election, I think 85-83. I was very small there, but I witnessed it too. There was no election that was as contentious, as rejected, kind of in Nigeria than this last election. Election that even when it was declared, Nigeria was in mournful mood. Even those that voted, nobody was rejoicing. Even actually a true election,
Everywhere was quiet.
everywhere was quiet. They have to begin to like import people dancing and say we are dancing over there. Because no people were entirely quiet. Other elections you see people that will be singing and dancing our client, but no.
Just like what happened in Abia State.
Yes.
The jubilation that was there.
We were wondering what actually happened. It took people. They were the inauguration. It was like the blooded armies everywhere. Inauguration that you see people dancing, music troops from different tribes coming in and Abuja to come and dance and celebrate. You know, the whole place will be agog that the new president is emerging. You see, that's that joy in Nigerians. We do inauguration in Abuja, nothing of such happened. They barricaded everywhere, militarized everywhere. So now that goodwill is not there. People are already angry with the way Tinubu emerged. Now you see the court. Every Nigerian became a lawyer overnight. People became judges overnight.
In fact, lawyers were the most sought after for analysis. I remember
analysis everywhere because they want to know where they still have hope, and eventually it ended up the way it ended up. How do you think that people will be patient with such a person that did everything within his disposal to make sure he ascended that throne, and now he entered there? Someone that started on a very, very background that did not command the goodwill of the people. The goodwill of the people. You don't do away with it in leadership. That goodwill is very, very the most important ingredient of success in leadership is the goodwill of the people. I've always told people in leadership that look, no matter whatever you do as a leader, don't lose the goodwill of the people. People will change their society if they want. You can give instructions times. If people don't want to obey, they won't obey it. Is it not recently they passed a law that nobody must use pedestrian bridge in Lagos? Did they comply with it? Did you see anybody complying with that order? Have you asked yourself why did they comply? Because people want to even come and arrest us, beat us, put us in prison because we're angry. We're not going to comply with that.
You know, in reaction to what you're just saying, to buttress what you're saying, the president's spokesman, Nigerian Galali, has actually stated that he doesn't understand why Nigerians are making it seem like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the only one who said fuel subsidy will be removed. He says
it was the system, it was the method.
He said that fuel subsidy expired in July 2023 or June 1st of June 2020. It was not captured in the budget. That is the challenges the president is facing. Even if it was Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar that won, they would have faced the same challenge. That why are they making it seem like it's a Bola Tinubu thing when all the presidential candidates aside from Kwankwaso wrote on that campaign that fuel subsidy will go off?
When I tell you I will come to Lagos now, and you say you are coming to Lagos, and Mr. B. Wallace said he's coming to Lagos. We all said we are coming to Lagos. It depends on how we want to come to Lagos. You may decide to trek to Lagos and trek for like 5 months before you get to Lagos. I may decide to fly to Lagos. The other person may decide to use bus to come to Lagos. Another person may decide to use a boat to get to the nearest place and board a boat and come to Lagos. There are different means of achieving the same thing. So it depends on the methodology you used in approaching the issue of subsidy removal. Someone will say, I want to remove subsidy. When he gets into office, he will study. Look at what this man that you played his record said. He will get into office. Look at what is at the moment subsidy is all about. How many liters of fuel we consume in a day? Who are those behind this subsidy? How is it being paid? How much are they being paid? How many tons are we consuming a day? How many what they call it, barrels of oil do we produce? Just my point. You study all these things and then you know how to. Do I go into express removal or do I go into gradual removal in phases? I first remove in a phase, move this fuel to like from 198, then is not true, to like 220. From 220, Nigerians will show up, balance up. I'll go to 250. I'll do from the money I raise from 250, I'll balance out some things, get some palliatives, get some money to be increased in the workforce, teachers, lecturers, maybe small scale businesses, SMEs. For money we generated, we fund them. We move to 300. By the time we are like 1 year in office, can finally remove the whole stuff. The whole amount of fuel subsidy removal. It's not that you have not even entered into the system. You've not studied what
no alternative measure to cushion the effect.
To cushion the effect and everything. I know I was mentioning myself because I've been in leadership in school. There are things I said that I would do when I was a governor. When I came there, they were difficult. I have to begin to prepare grounds. I begin to call meetings of congresses, call ESCO meetings, and then begin to review how do we do this. Or before when I began to like gradually, gradually get into that. And it was my point. I put measures in place on how to go about that. You begin to create awareness. Was there any awareness that was created on Nigerians on how to what they will expect when the subsidy is removed? Why do we have no idea? If you want to get into a tough policy or tough government kind of program that you know that will impact, that will create kind of heat on the system or make things life difficult for the people, but may have a long time benefits, you let them know, look, please bear with us, look at what we want to do, look at how phases it will take. As so and so phase, you may have so and so challenge. People will build up their minds, they build up their money. Even in the Bible, when there will be there will be a famine for 7 years. Do what? Store up your grains.
That was during the time of Joseph.
Yes, do what? Store up your grain. You built up the mind that there will be a famine. The one that might want to give birth may say, I'm not going to born within the 7 years, because there will be famine. I may not have enough. I used to feed my children. The one that gave birth say, let me withdraw my children from big schools there and put them in lower schools because there will be famine. The Pharaoh told them there will be a famine
through his prime minister who advised him. That was Joseph. They prepared
their mind ahead of that time. They stored up grains. They prepare ahead of it. This is leadership provided by Pharaoh in the Bible.
Osita Chidioka is saying
you don't just come up and say because this guy, when I look at them, because it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect their families. They will go to Qatar, going to everywhere, brandishing watches of $300,000 that they bought and everything. It doesn't affect them. That's why they don't know what people are passing through every day in Nigeria here. People like us who know, we see people suffering. I was in one shopping mall today. Somebody brought out what she needed for her family. When they began to put the prices on the system of the cashier there, she removed half of those things. She removed half of what she brought down to be assessed for payment. He said, no, I didn't have up to this. But these are the things she wanted for her family. But she couldn't go ahead with those things because the amount of money that showed on the screen were beyond what she budgeted. But the family needed those things. Do you know what that means now? They are going to manage with whatever they have. They are going to they are preparing grants for sickness, for deficiency in their proteins, in their carbohydrates, in preparing avenue for being sick.
We'll be taking phone calls. In response to what you're saying, Osita Chidoka has claimed that President Bola Tinubu's team, they're encountering challenges in managing a sovereign state, which they may not have previously experienced. So he pointed out the shift in dynamics, noting that decisions made by Tinubu's team would not receive the same support from the federal government as they might have enjoyed at the state level in Lagos.
And again, Tinubu is playing politics with everyone. Look at people he's appointing everywhere. Ganduje's son, the other son. Why are you doing that?
Professor Yusuf just said so. He just said so. And he called them
Why Obasanjo actually succeeded in leadership was Obasanjo went for the best brands. Irrespective, Obasanjo never used a ministerial appointment to pacify his political friends and associates. But unfortunately, Tinubu doesn't know anything about leadership. He knows everything about playing politics. That's why he was saying Labour should wait for 2027. Because for him, INEC everywhere must be filled up with all the people that will rig the election for him. And everywhere will be filled up with all his people and everything. They'll pick money and everything for election. He's not there for leadership. That is the area he mastered very well. He would have remained as a godfather, bringing people into leadership, but not to lead. Look at people that went to Qatar. Look at the list there. Look at the names there. Is that what what portfolio they have that will attract that investment or manage it? There's a difference between leadership and politics. You can play politics and become a leader, but it takes leadership qualities for you to perform in office. And in doing that, you go for people that will give you a result, even if they don't like your face. Just like a tenant, the best tenant in the house is the one that pays his rent regularly, not the one that greets landlord every day. That greets the wife for landlord every day, bound that's showing you rents. If you owe rent and that greeting will turn to, he will not like your face again. But the one that doesn't like his face doesn't greet him. Once your rent is due, you drop your money in his account. Landlord will like you even if he doesn't like your face. That is how a leader behaves. You don't need to get people you like.
Barrister Joe, in the course of the week, Ajurun Galali was trending where he said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not sleep, and he became a subject of derision over claims that the president sleeps at 2 a.m. And this was via an interview with Chude. I'm sure you know Chude. He's quite popular. He actually does profiling of some very elite persons on his platform on YouTube, and he said that the president goes to bed by 2 a.m. and wakes up by 7:30. That he has a lot of issues to deal with. For example, he says, "Be patient with us. I am working with a man who I can personally vouch for, in the sense that I know he's going to bed at 2 to 3 a.m. every single night, including Sundays, and that he's waking up at 7:30 a.m. every single day, including Sundays, opening his files and working into the late night when no one is there." And Nigerians went agog with their criticism. What work is he doing?
Sleeping, not sleeping, doing what?
He said he was watching Netflix. So
that's what they should. And I tried not sleeping, doing what? Because there are people that when you call them by 12 p.m. they are awake. You call them by 1, they are awake, and next morning they'll start asking you for money. Do you understand my point? Okay. And I put that by 10 they are no longer they are on their bed, and you see the level of progress they have made. It will just like astound you. So the point is that not sleeping, doing what? Just on my point, what is the result of not sleeping? I'm not against him. For now, if I have actually ascended the presidency through the means and the toughness and every challenges that Tinubu actually experienced, I have gone all out to make sure I prove my critics wrong. But unfortunately, Tinubu doesn't want to change that. He so much believes in politics. But look, things are changing.
Well, you remember Fani-Kayode? Remember Fani-Kayode that said that there are external elements who are trying to sabotage the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that the abduction of these 280 primary and secondary school pupils, that it's not just to collect money, but they're using the money to buy weapons. That there are cartels and conspirators who are making a caricature of our democracy. Well, this same Fani-Kayode in a statement mocked Dati Baba Ahmed, the Labour Party's vice presidential candidate during the 2023 general election, for his behavior towards President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his official X account. So he says, it was quite a lot. He says, "Dati the daft quivers, shivers and bows before our leader and crawls on his little obedient knees while wearing a big sheepish 'I am sorry sir' smile on his fat Mauritanian face." Glory, Fani-Kayode stated, and it's coming amidst growing tensions within the political battles between the ruling party and the opposition party, Labour Party. Now, this is the same Fani-Kayode that is saying that we should unite, we should become one.
I don't know why it's like
we should not try to decapitate our democracy. No, the reason why I'm saying this is Barrister Joe is we need to, because these things go viral. Barrister Joe, no, it goes viral and it talks. You started. Look at what you said.
Fani-Kayode, you started. His food is ready politician. I don't know why people are just giving. He worked under Obasanjo.
Barrister Joe, you don't say people are just giving.
Food is ready politician.
My question is, you are the same person saying that there are individuals decapitating this administration, but you just made a derogatory comment. You saw the insult he gave Dati Baba Ahmed.
He's not a consistent person.
Barrister Joe, if you see the president, wouldn't you kneel and greet him, regardless of your sentiments towards the president?
The president is an old man. He's almost 80. That I made it since 50s. He should respect him by virtue of age, and by virtue of everything put together has been done. And our Supreme Court, the highest law court in the land, pronounced him the president. Will you now see him and still fight him or slap him? For the fact he's the occupant of that office for now. He's the president.
Exactly.
There. Nothing will change it. He represents you in any place he goes as your president. And his actions and inactions will variably or invariably affect you. So when you see him, even if you're in opposition, you greet him. Be in opposition does not make somebody your enemy. Just like most of us in court. That the lawyer is on the other side does not make him your enemy. You see, say, my learned friend, you see greet. Tomorrow you see go back to court and resume your fight. He will still fire something, you still counter it and challenge him and still try by all means to win him in court. You used to come out and greet and laugh and go. That is how to play politics. Is Fani-Kayode now propagating politics of bitterness? The data made will sit in and start fighting or insult him and calling him names. The era of campaign is over. If you see a president, you greet him. It doesn't stop you from remaining steadfast in your party and preparing ahead of what you do next election. You are not fighting. You are fighting. It's just like the office that people want to take over the office and use that office to do things differently. Tinubu as a person is not your enemy. To be as a person is not your enemy. Like when I was a government, somebody were giving me a serious battle. They said, Joe, these people don't hate you. It's your office they want. If you leave that office tomorrow, they'll come to your room and prepare tea and drink tea with you. But for you to prove to them that you are worthy of this office and perform and challenge them and let them know that you are capable of doing beyond their expectations. That tomorrow, if you leave this office, you may be surprised they'll be laughing at you and come back to your bed days and give you money. They are not your enemies. People are contesting over an office who will occupy it and then do things differently. So what you even talking about international conspiracy and the rest of them, I am yet to understand why we still talk about those things. Who is conspiring against who?
No, I'm just saying that you struck the polity and you're advising that we should unite together and not enable these external individuals infiltrate and destabilize the harmonization of our country. But you are at the forefront of creating the division by the kind of comments you put on such a platform that a lot of people can read from.
For me, the problem we have is there are so many people who give attention on social media that we ought not to. Once somebody has actually manifested his type of person, we should minimize the level of attention we give them. For me, Fani-Kayode was brought up by Obasanjo because of the pedigree of his father.
Barrister George, do you know what it is to categorically come and state that there are some external factors and cartels that are trying to do? That means you have a first-hand information somewhere.
What you should know, that these guys are people that open their mouth to say whatever in defense of the government. They were recruited and being paid. He was trying to divert attention, so the responsibility, the onus of protecting Nigeria now will be like it was a Tinubu has no ask a question to answer. That these are external factors; it is beyond his power. So it's not to be blamed. He's just shifting blames. What Fani do is diverting attention and shifting blames. It's part of what they are paid for. What job is he doing? If I can tell you how much will be entering his account, it will be like you shudder. So they are there to like play all these games to shift blames and let the president have an escape that he's not responsible because of the way they attacked Jonathan under Chippewa girls. So the same attack will not come under the president. It's not shifting blames. How can you say that somebody that swore to with oaths and the constitution to protect Nigeria had territorial integrity and everything, something will happen inside that place? We start blaming people. It's not a lame dog excuse.
Let's take phone calls and take WhatsApp messages. You can actually call the number 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call, and the WhatsApp number is 0817 175 6338. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
How are you?
My best broadcaster.
Thank you. Peter Osifo.
You are doing very well. Please keep it up.
Thank you.
And the Lord is your strength. My name is Peter Osifo. I'm speaking from Abanje.
All right.
In a cartoon.
All right.
Also, I greet the barrister.
Ijeoma Egwuatu.
And the Ijeoma Egwuatu. I greet you, sir. Yeah, my comment.
Yes.
First,
Barrister Joe,
I want to
please wear your headphone. Yeah. Go ahead, please, Peter.
Hello?
Go ahead, please. I want Barrister Joe to wear his headpiece.
Thank you very much, sir. First, I want to comment on Subara's comment.
Okay.
That is during Harvard students' funeral or
yes.
In conjunction with that of the Senate President. Let me tell you, Subara to me, the comment he made is, to me, is sarcasm taken too far. You understand? What I'm trying to say there is that vanity upon vanity, all is vanity. Yes. To me, that is not good enough at that point in time because it's only being political.
No, he actually referred to the political class, saying that what are they struggling for? At the end of the day, you go 6 feet under. So what do? You impact in people's lives rather than having to fight for power. That's what he was referring to. It was
very sarcastic, and I support what the reply
Akpabio gave
to him. Yes, I support him 100%. Be that as it may. If Fubara, the thing is, if you are not, you don't like, you should not go into teaching.
Okay.
Fubara at a point in time recently said that he may resign if that will bring peace to River State or to the Riverians. To me, in fact, he has even committed a crime at the moment for impeachment. And what is, spending money illegally without taking it to the House of Assembly members for, for approval. That is the 800 billion naira that was passed ad initio by the defunct 4-member assembly. You understand? So, Tony has already committed a crime there, committed impeachment.
All right, Peter Osife, let's take more calls, all right? Thank you so much. Okay, Barrister Joe, you wanted to react to that?
No, they cannot say that money he's spending is illegal because court validated the decision of those 4 people there.
Okay.
And no court has nullified this decision they took.
All right. 0700 903 903 903. Please, when you call, you just have a minute to talk. 0700 903 903 903. Hello? Hello.
Evening,
yes, evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. Good evening. What's your name?
Yeah. My name is Nemeka from Ejigbo.
Nemeka from Ejigbo. Please go ahead. You have a minute.
My greeting. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
First of all, happy Mother's Day to every woman.
Thank you.
And to you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. You see, the time this is we call this time of this moment time in Nigeria the truth. All of them, I said all of them, they speak with one after the other. So they have barrier to attend. They went there to use it as a political platform, discussing their grievances to each other. Yeah, we are telling them, you see, this country will not die with anybody. You will do your worst. After you do your worst, you will go, and this country will still remain. People are dying every blessed day. They kidnap people, make people. Instead of them to be, we want them to discuss how to solve this problem in this country. They are discussing who is struggling, who not is struggling. I don't blame any of them.
All right, thank you.
I don't blame any of them.
Your 1 minute has been exhausted.
I don't blame any of them. That's why he's telling me. That's why I said this night.
Okay. All right,
know
thank
that
you.
we are human beings. God bless you, my dear.
All right, thank you. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. Please, when you call, you have a minute, okay? And make sure that you turn off your audio or your listening device so we don't get a feedback, all right? Hello. Welcome to the Political Spotlight.
Oh,
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening. So,
Sir, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, this is Chico. They're calling from Ijeoma.
All right, please go ahead.
You're welcome, sir.
First of all, concerning the man that have been detained for all this while because of bringing IPOP. I wish both you, Barrister Darlington, why not see how far we can go and see that this man is brought out of that place. That is just by the side, though I know that it came up while we are discussing. So that one is by the side. And again, what both Fubara and our Senate President are doing at that funeral is just funny. It's just too funny and very unfortunate. It is a sorry to the kind of people we are having in seats of position of power for the sake of the masses they are there to take care of. It's very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate.
All right, thank you. Your 1 minute is exhausted.
Have a nice night.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me read some of your messages on YouTube. Benjamin Alato says, regretting from Yakubu, INEC chairman shows that he's mocking ordinary Nigerians more and more. Wingate Facilitator says, Fani-Kayode should direct his statement to the military and his Tinubu Oga. He spoke against the choice of the people because he wants food. Olori Collins says, Esther, can you stop words from you? Okay. I'm not going to read that out. Amechi Wachuku says, if Mahmood Yakubu let him regret or not, he must not go unpunished. His generation must never run away from the nemesis. Oh, Mahmoud was doing his job, and I just told you that from the fact check, he never said that he regrets, declaring President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a president. There was a fact check to that, and that he did not make that statement. Rather, he gave a report on what transpired on February 25 during the 2023 elections on what caused a malfunctioning of the INEC portal. According to Mahmoud Yakub, there was a bug and HTTP and an error. I think our cyber experts can tell us, even if those from Amazon, those who have created that particular platform, said from their end they did not receive any glitch, they didn't see any cause for whatever, but INEC says that there was a bug and that's what caused the stalling of uploading results on the INEC portal. Well, that's it. Okay, Sylvester Olunwense says, is Ngalali doing LGBTQ with Tinubu, or Tinubu is keeping awake because of fear of overthrow by military, by the way, which means you equally don't sleep. Ugochukwu Okoro says, all people like Tinubu don't sleep that much because he's up all night. Doesn't mean he's thinking of Nigeria, yet he gets up to 6 hours sleep, waking up by 8 a.m. when he's supposed to be at work. Okay, all right. Let me read some of your WhatsApp messages. The kidnapping in the north, I believe there is agenda over it. When office was about to be moved from Abuja to Lagos, the Sultan of Sokoto and other prominent northerners spoke. But have you heard them speaking about this kidnapping that is going on? Amobi from 7 and 8. All right, Amobi, thank you for sending that message. Good evening, Esther. Tinubu is not going to offer Nigerians any good leadership. He's just there lavishing Nigeria's resources. Back text from Ebeda. Good evening, Esther. PTA nation that is insecure, displacement of its citizens also has become... okay, I've read this message before. You keep repeating this message. The kidnapping in the north, I believe there is agenda over it. Okay, I've read all of this. Thank you for that message. Hello. Hello.
Good evening, Esther.
Hi, good evening. How are you?
Esther.
Good evening.
I'm fine, thank you. And kudos to your fantastic analyst there.
Thank you.
Look,
your name, please. You didn't tell us your name.
Oh, apologies. Bad habit. My name is Remy. I'm calling you from Tottenham in London.
All right,
Tinubu don't sleep.
Yeah.
Look, not sleeping is not a sign of hard work. It's even bad for somebody of that age, because when you don't sleep, it's a sign of depression, and you might be hearing strange voices. I think we need to look into that. These are symptoms of depression. However, look, what we are seeing repeatedly is what we are going to see for the next 4 years, my dear. I mean, when it comes to government, I don't believe in hope. I don't believe in prayer. I don't believe in patience, because government is supposed to be scientific. And it clearly shows that these guys, they are just playing game, gamble, just trying their luck. You don't run government like this in the modern day. And look at what they're doing. They're just coming up with defensive mechanism just to say, oh, blame this, blame that. Guys, prepare your mind for the worst days that are yet to come. This is 4 years of waste in our nationhood. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. And the WhatsApp number is 081 71756 338. If you're watching us on YouTube, you will see the number right there on the screen for you to actually send your messages on WhatsApp, and of course for you to call. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, evening. Name and location, please.
My name is XY.
Okay. Go ahead.
I want to react on one or two before my time. First, also did not. The government should be aware. All these big time officers knows everything concerning kidnapping in this country. You can't tell you have NIN. At the end of the day, you keep on blocking people's number. keep on blocking people's accounts. At the end of the day, you cannot fish or bring them out.
Hello, Mr. XYZ. Okay, we've lost that connection. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Hello. Hello, you're live.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Shoguchi from Ijeoma.
All right, please go ahead. You have a minute.
I am on the side of begging Nigerians to allow Tinubu to rest for 1 minute.
Okay.
Because I found out that since he entered that office, as he said, he never one day sleep. Please, I am
Okay.
begging.
All right.
Let us give him chance
Okay.
to rest.
Okay.
He has to govern this power.
All right.
The one he entered there has never rested.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. He's pleading that we should let the president rest. That we've not allowed the president to rest since he entered. We should extend that same grace that we gave to Muhammadu Buhari to the president. So
And
that
what was the end point of that?
that's
grace?
basically what he's saying. Hello.
What was the end point of that grace?
Hello.
Why are you
Hello.
resting?
Good evening.
Evening. How are you? Welcome to the Political Spotlight. What's your name, please?
My name is Jonathan. I'm calling from London.
All right, Jonathan. Go ahead.
I'm greeting your guest there. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, brother.
Yes, sir. The situation that Tinubu is not sleeping, but there's no results.
That's the issue.
You are not sleeping. There's no results. So getting awake doing what? Doing nothing. This is Kalu government. The expatriate this thing they did the other day. They will later withdraw it. This is a trial and error. Subsidy is gone. Subsidy is back again. This is Kalu government. All the audio foreign direct investment. We haven't seen nothing. So I don't know. I've started to be corrected though. Maybe they have not withdrawn the expatriate levy they want to put on, because I saw in the news that 2 days ago that they want to reconsult again. So I don't see. You are not sleeping. Where is the results? So thank you very much.
All right, thank you for calling. I like how short and straight to the point this caller went. 0700 903 903 903. That is the number to call. 0700 903 903 903. Hello. Hello.
Esther, please, I called to inform you something. I beg you.
What's your name?
Somebody
What's your name?
Somebody call.
What's your name? What's your name?
Nemeka from Edo.
Okay, Nemeka. Okay, all right.
Somebody call and be telling us not to give Baba chance to rest more.
Yes.
I want to remind the person that Baba told us during election time that we should not pity for him, that he's fit for the job. And that person that is begging us, you should be begging Baba to give us good leadership. Please, we are begging him too. You understand me?
Okay.
He can use propaganda to win an election, but he can't use propaganda to govern a country.
Okay.
Simple as ABC.
All right.
God bless you.
Thank you. Now the question is, when we criticize government, another part of our responsibility is to recommend solutions. Maybe they do not know, or maybe they think what they're applying will work. So what should the government do? I think that's one of the objectives of having a forum like this where we have this conversation. Where are the areas that government needs to wake up and discuss? What are the immediate things that the government needs to do? I would like that, in the comment section on our YouTube channel as well as on our WhatsApp platform, because we'll soon be wrapping up this program. I really want to know, Barrister Joe, can you give me 2 recommendations on the immediacy, what the government needs to focus on as soon as possible, since they may not even know what they're doing?
Number one is
Please
issue of high price, pump price of petroleum products.
All right.
Because the time the NNPC chairman, I don't know, that Milik told us that the prices should be adjusting. They never told us it's something that will go up and never come down. Since that time, they said from 5 or something to now 600 and something naira. We don't even know where it is headed. So Are we now, is it only going up? Can't we see that the prices sometimes will adjust and go down?
I told you yesterday I bought it 603 naira to a liter for my generator.
You know, you understand my point now. I've been watching keenly. It has been going up. NNPC in Abuja is selling 617 naira. I was there last time in Abuja. In Lagos, they're selling 58 something.
603, 607.
Other filling station, major marketers. Other marketers are selling even as 630 and the rest.
What other recommendation would you give?
So they must do something about that. Then foreign exchange, they must know what actually happened, how they handle the floating of naira. They must do something about that. I was complaining that I wanted to buy bottled water today, and they told me Seaway is 1,600.
Yeah, big man.
When I complained, somebody said in his area it is sold as 1,700. So they're now pushing people to either go and drink water from the gutters or drink pure water that you don't know how.
Oh, Barrister Joe, ice water has returned.
Ice water.
I've seen it in traffic. The one where they tie the sachet, when they tie.
Ice water, you don't know where the
water is from.
Where the water is from. We are, you know. So we should do this. Is having multiplier effects on the quality of life of people. Every day people are growing older. I can never go back to university days now. Everything that happened there has happened. Like when I was in my 30s, I cannot go back there again. People are going, the system should not be in such a way that you are making life difficult and terrible for people.
All right, let me read some WhatsApp messages. Good evening, Esther. These politicians are not serious. How can they be washing their dirty undies in a burial ceremony? They don't have regard for the dead. Instead of them to be in a sober mood for the Wigwe family, this shows how selfish they are. Thanks from Christopher. All right, thanks, Christopher. Evening, Esther. Silence of Nigerians has. Well, this is long. Matawale should please ask the army to go after the terrorists and not those seeking for the military to take over. Please, Mr. President, not sleeping till 2 a.m. Did we ask all the time he sleeps? Waiting person no go see for this one Nigeria. All right. Good evening from Adeyemi Kamara from Satellite Town, Lagos. Apart from Tinubu, among Atiku and Obi, who won the 2023 elections? Okay, that is your question. I will take one more call so we can wrap up. Hello.
Hello, this is Jonathan calling from London.
Jonathan, good evening. Welcome to the Political Spotlight. You have a minute.
So thank you, Barrister. On this recommendation that you mentioned, I'm very happy. We can see all the technocrats that work with PDP for these 16 years. And all of us can point at all their achievements. 70 to 80% of the appointees of the APC, they are politicians. They can't give results. Apart from the pure technocrats that know the implication of the policy and know where they have tried policy and the pain and the gain of the policy, those are the people that can be on the table. That can, for example, look at the economic team that Tinubu put together, the likes of Dangote. They said they are part-time economic team.
Advisory economic team. They will advise the president or his economic team on what to do.
Yes, how? On part-time? Wow. Can we get the result on this part-time with the level of the economy situation we have now? The advanced country has even having part-time, they are struggling with it.
All right, thank you. Okay. Your 1 minute is exhausted.
Thank you very much.
Hello. Evening, welcome to the Political Spotlight. Please, you have 1 minute. Hello. All right. I think that's our final call on the program. Barrister Joe Nwokedi, what's your final take? Just a minute.
We should keep talking and we'll keep hoping, and we believe our leaders will also hear us and make life better for the people. Like Fubara said, what is the struggle for? At the end of the day, we end up in 6 feet. It's the works of our hands that will be used to remember us. And any opportunity to lead is an opportunity for you to entrench your name in gold. And if you miss it, generations unborn will always have a reason to curse you and your family.
Social media handle.
John Workett at our platforms.
Social media handle Estic Media on YouTube. That's ESTIQMEDIA. On Facebook is at Estanwachiku. On X is Estic Media on YouTube. That's at Estanwachiku. All right. Do have yourself an amazing evening. Bye for now.